Episode 3, Whispers in the Unknown, and Episode 4, Pride and Vengeance, continue to progress the story of Maul, Shadowlord. And it's good. It's really good. I'm the Elflander, and this is my review and analysis of the new episodes of Lucasfilm's animated Darth Maul spin-off, airing every Monday till May the 4th on Disney+. Check out my review of the first two episodes here, linked at the top of the video and at the end. Like last time, I'll start with my spoiler-free thoughts before going into a spoilery synopsis of both episodes, and then my thoughts again. The first thing to notice about these episodes is that the pace is being kept really well. Unlike many of the live-action Disney Plus shows and the animated Bad Batch, Shadowlord is progressing at a really good rate. It's not rushing or dragging either its main plot or its subplots.
Were you rushing or were you dragging?
I was surprised, pleasantly, about what happened and what did not happen in these episodes, but more on that in the spoiler bit. But suffice it to say, this show does not have a lot of fluff, like no filler. Everything is directly focused. I'm going to contrast this to my favorite punching bag, the other Disney Plus Star Wars shows. Now, we can categorize every Star Wars show of this era of Star Wars into two categories. Is it a Clone Wars or is it a Rebels? Every show, to some extent, is kind of modeled off of one of those two things. I'm intentionally ignoring the 2003 Clone Wars because that's a different beast entirely. Clone Wars is a main plot story. It orbits top-level characters and deals with big stuff happening in the Star Wars galaxy. Like I said in my video on Solo: A Star Wars Story, it's something that tells the story of the entire era. The goal of Clone Wars, with its anthology or arc structure, was to see as many levels of the galaxy as possible. In 5 seasons of 22 episodes of 22 minutes, we explore huge parts of the prequel era. We don't actually have a lot of Clone Wars style shows. There are far more shows that take after Star Wars Rebels. Rebels is a show that very intentionally told a story about side characters operating kind of on the peripheries of the post-prequel and original trilogy Star Wars eras, intersecting with galactic level main plot stuff only every so often. This allowed Rebels to tell its own stories, explore a bit more off the beaten path, deal with issues that it's actually harder to do with the expansive Clone Wars style. Unlike Clone Wars, where our main characters are Anakin and Obi-Wan, and new characters like Ahsoka and Rex are introduced in their shadow, big characters, or at least these galactic level players, tend to be guest stars and cameos in Rebels. Lando, Leia, Mon Mothma, Saw Gerrera, Cham Syndulla, and Bo-Katan all get to feature in a few episodes here and there, but clearly they've got their own stuff going off-screen. Rebels generally stay centered on the Ghost Crew and ultimately the planet Lothal. Both formats are good, but there are too many Rebels tier shows. Mando is a Rebels that mistakenly tries to morph into a Clone Wars by the end. Book of Boba Fett and Bad Batch should be Clone Warses, but are convinced that they should be Rebels. Kenobi could do either, but it probably just should have committed to being a Rebels. Like, keep it small scale, stay on Tatooine, whatever. Ahsoka is a meh Rebels sequel that should just be a Clone Wars. So, what kind of show is Maul Shadowlord? Based on these two episodes, it looks like it's going to start as a Rebels. Small scale, one planet, consistent crews of characters, but it's very carefully and intentionally scaling up into a Clone Wars level conflict, in which major characters and galactic things will happen probably just in the criminal underworld, and relating to, Darth Vader and Sidious. All the new characters continue to orbit Maul, which allows them to feel not random. It's this tight focus, it's this ability to know, where does this show fit into the wider scheme of things that the other Star Wars shows just haven't really had. And here, it seems like they really just have a sense of, what is this show supposed to be? Where is it supposed to fit? How do we take it from one place and land in another? So, okay, that's great. How are the characters doing? Also, really well, I think. Each character gets just the right amount of time and attention, and their personal conflicts are all really good, not easily resolved, and they present worthwhile moral difficulties for everyone. Maul's dynamic with Daki, with Lawson, the crime bosses, and most of all, with Devon, present some interesting challenges and continue to make Maul a cool character, which is the ultimate triumph of this show. If it can keep making Maul interesting well after we know his beginning and his end, they've won. Okay, spoiler time. You have been warned. Synopsis. Episode 3, Whispers in the Unknown, features Maul having tea time with Devon, which leads to his manipulative interaction with her, trying to seduce her to the dark side, or whatever side he's on. In the meantime, Rook Kast oversees the escalating conflict with the Pike Syndicate, and Janix's police force tries and fails to keep up. Lawson himself is torn between being there for his son and his civic duty. Pride and Vengeance, Episode 4, begins with Maul infiltrating the Pike stronghold on Obadiah and obliterating Pike leadership before reconquering the Syndicate. In the meantime, Lawson and the Jedi each prepare for a showdown with Maul while contemplating the likelihood of Imperial intervention. The eventual showdown leads to a crushing defeat of Lawson and his forces, Master Daki injured? Maybe? And Two Boots has finally called for Imperial support. The episode ends with a Star Destroyer hovering above the city. As I said in the non-spoiler bit, they're somehow managing to make Maul a more interesting character. In his challenge or temptation or whatever of Devon in episode 3, I think it's really cool that nothing Maul says is actually untrue. Like, there's not a single lie that I heard in any of the actual statements that he makes. He's obviously manipulating her, and even if he's not successful, episode 4 subtly tells us that he's planted some seeds of doubt in spite of her defiance. The question of Maul at this stage of his character development is, I think, being set up as one of ends versus means. Maul isn't wrong about the Empire. He's right about what they've taken from him, from the Jedi, from the galaxy. So, what's at stake if he fights them the way he wants to fight them? Are his goals good? Wait, what even are his goals, actually? We still don't know, and that's one of the ways the show is keeping up his aura of mystery. I was pleasantly surprised how fast the Pikes were taken care of. Marg Krim dies in like 2 seconds despite his sick redesign. They really, really need to stop trying to make the Pikes happen as any sort of big threat. So that was nice to see that we dealt with them in like 2 episodes. I thought they'd be like the main villains, I'm not gonna lie, which would have brought like trauma flashbacks from Book of Boba Fett. So, yay. Maul also has a really interesting moral code. He seems to have a genuine respect for Lawson's honorable lawfulness, as well as Jedi nobility. It seems like he's trying to chart a kind of middle way as a Darksider who's not totally depraved. And I guess we'll see where that goes and how long it'll last, but I like it. Regarding Lawson, I really like how the whole absentee father thing is being handled. It gives his character some different but grounded stakes, at least compared to other Star Wars things. And it creates moral ambiguity about him that I suspect will get paid off later. Same with Two Boots and his affinity for the Empire, or at least I guess his affinity for protocol. Speaking of, Two Boots is kind of cool. Actually, everyone is kind of cool. All the action in this show is great. Do you remember when that 212th Clone Trooper fan animated short thing went viral last year or something? And there were some people complaining about how it was just like dumb action and aura. Like, yeah, it's Star Wars.
That's why I'm here.
I'm so happy they didn't make some sort of like artistic decision to save lightsaber duels for the very end or just not have them. Like, it's Darth Maul, like, please. And they're doing it. The duels are great. The gunfights and the chases and the standoffs are really good too. This show is animated, so we need to see stuff happen as much as we need good character and dialogue. And I'm happy to say that I think it's doing all of those things. So, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to next week. Is there anything that I've missed in my take? Anything I should have covered and didn't? Any agreement or disagreement? Just let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to continue the discussion. While you're down there, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and I'd love to see it keep growing. Thanks, and God bless.